Good evening, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. Yeah, just pardon me with my throat today. And I hope you all are doing very well. Okay, so I would request everyone to sit properly with your books and pen in your hand because we are going to practice reactions today. I don't want any more sleeping beauties in the class. So please pardon me if my voice is not clear to you today. Just a little bit of throat problem here. Hopefully, am I audible to you? Okay. So we'll quickly start with sharing my screen. Just give me a minute here. Okay. So I assume that everybody can see my screen now. And if you remember, in the previous class, we had already started with balancing chemical equations. And I am hoping that you all might have practiced balancing equations. Yes, my dear students, I can just hope that you all have done that. Okay. So let us quickly move ahead with the topic today. In this chapter, we have studied how to write a chemical equation. We also studied how we are supposed to balance the chemical equation. So today we are finally going to start with types of chemical reactions. It's very important and this is the place where majority of you go wrong and find it difficult. So I want everyone to be very attentive now. So please concentrate on your screen. We're going to start with types of chemical reactions. So let us quickly begin with this. The first type, student, the first type of chemical reaction is called as combination reaction. Come on, I want everyone to repeat after me. What is the first type? If you have time to keep your video on, I think you can repeat as well, right? So the first type is combination reaction. In combination reaction, in general, if I just have to take in general, if you need to understand, I am taking a reactant. Let me write it as A. So my reactant here is A. It is combining with another reactant which is B. I am just helping you to understand the general equation here. A reacts with B to form a compound which is called as AB. What is the compound called as? AB. And why is it AB? The product AB I will get only when I crisscross the valency. This is just in general. We have not taken any valency here. But I will get the product as AB when I crisscross the valency. What do we mean by combination? What is the definition? Let us learn the definition. When two or more reactants, it can be either two reactant like I have given you in this equation, or it can be more than that. When, when two or more reactants combine in a reaction to form a single product, it is called as combination reaction. Come on, everyone, repeat quickly. What's the first definition of combination reaction? When two or more reactants combine in a reaction to form a single product, it is called as combination reaction. I want everyone to repeat it once again. When two or more reactants combine in a reaction to form a single product, it is called as combination reaction. I am giving you 10 seconds time because I want you to write. Reactions we learn only when we are able to write. The first type, the first heading which you're going to give today is called as types of chemical reaction. Under that, the first one is combination reaction. And in this combination reaction, you will write the general equation which is A plus B gives me AB. What's the general equation? A plus B gives me AB. And what's the definition? When two or more reactants combine together to form a single product, it is called as combination reaction. Come on, quickly finish it. So the definition says, the definition, students, I would request you to be careful that definitions always make sure you're learning from the textbook. Even if you're writing the meaning same, you might get marks, but I would still suggest that the language which you're using in your answer sheet should be exactly the same of the textbook. In definitions, not a single error is accepted. Definitions has to be crystal clear like it is given in the textbook. That is going to give a good impression when you're writing your paper. So the definition of combination, once again, I want everyone to repeat. Come on, quickly. When two or more reactants combine in a reaction to form a single product, it is called as combination reaction. So A plus B gives me AB. Now you might be feeling, man, this is such a simple equation, then why there is need to repeat so much? So let us try to understand the examples which are given to us. One example, the one common example which we've been repeating continuously, that is of the magnesium ribbon. Remember, we had taken magnesium ribbon, we've burnt it in the presence of oxygen, and we've got a white colored powder of magnesium oxide. I assume that by now you are able to write this equation. Yes or no? If you're able to write this, very good. If you're not able to write this, then start revising, because so many times you've already done this equation, my dear students. So come on quickly. So the equation which I'm going to write here is magnesium, which is Mg plus O2, that is my oxygen, combines together to give me white colored powder of magnesium oxide. The product magnesium oxide which I'm going to get, I'm going to write with the help of valency. And like we have seen the valency chart, Mg has valency 2, O has valency 2. Both the two gets cancelled and I'm getting the product as MgO. What is my product? MgO. And to balance it, I have put 2 in front. The equation which is shown to you on the screen, students, is already balanced. 2 Mg plus O2 gives me 2 MgO. Can I call this as an example of combination reaction? Can I call this as an example of combination? Because in this equation, I have 2 reactants which have combined together to form a single product. I'm repeating myself again. This becomes an example of combination reaction where we have 2 reactants combined together to form a single product. So it will be called as combination reaction. I hope it is clear. So the first example was very simple, where it is 2 Mg plus O2 gives me 2 MgO. Let us take one more example now. The next example of combination reaction, student, as you can see in this picture I have a beaker which is filled with water, and at the base I have taken calcium oxide. If you want your chemistry to get much better, at every stage try to make the formula on your own. Try to make the formula on your own. What is the formula I've required here? See, water, I know everybody knows it's H2O. What is calcium oxide? Think, my dear students, it's very simple. Calcium is Ca and oxide is because of oxygen, which is O. Then refer your valency chart if it's not learned to you yet. I would still request, please revise your valency chart again and again. Calcium valency 2, oxygen valency 2, both the two gets cancelled and I get CaO, which is my calcium oxide, as you can see on the screen. The calcium oxide at the base I have written S, which means it's the solid substance. I am going to dissolve it in water, which is liquid, is going to give me the product as. Can you think of a product here? What will be formed when I combine calcium oxide with water? This reaction we have done previously also. In your lower standards, you have already studied this reaction. But still, if you're not able to remember, let me give you a small hint. Whenever we make a product, we always do crisscross, right? All my students know that product we are going to do crisscross. Crisscross of what? Crisscross of something which is positive and something which is negative. What do I see positive in my reactant? In calcium oxide, the positive is the calcium. So, ma'am, which is negative now? One tip or one hint you can say I'm giving you here. Whenever you see water in the reactant, in the product, always a hydroxide will be formed. Whenever we have water in the reactant, in the product, hydroxide will be formed. And as you can refer the valency chart, hydroxide is OH with charge negative and valency 1. So now I am giving you hint to answer the question. Calcium combines with hydroxide, calcium valency 2, hydroxide which is OH having valency 1. When you crisscross, you get the formula as CaOH twice. What are we going to spell it as? CaOH twice. Please make it very clear. I am repeating it once again. I had calcium oxide. I used that substance which is solid and dissolved it in water. I got the product as calcium hydroxide. I've got the product as calcium hydroxide. And as you can see at the base, I've written aqueous. What's the meaning of aqueous? Whenever a solid is dissolved in liquid, the corresponding solution which we are going to get is termed as aqueous. And because there was water in the reactant, in the product, I have used hydroxide. calcium having valency 2, OH having valency 1. When you crisscross, you will get CaOH twice. And the reason for putting OH in brackets is because it's a radical. From the table, we know we have studied something which is called as ions and radicals. Even when you're sitting for my lecture, please make sure the valency chart is in front of your eyes. Calcium and hydroxide. Because hydroxide is together, they're going to get the valency of calcium, which is 2. So we put it in brackets. And we don't read it as CaOH2. We read it as CaOH twice. Because when you say twice, it is making it very clear that oxygen atom is also 2 and hydrogen atom is also 2. Now I hope it is getting clear in your mind. So calcium oxide, another common name for calcium oxide is also called as quicklime. Sometimes students in the exam, it might happen that they might ask you what happens when quicklime is put in water. So you need to be prepared with all the alternative names. Calcium oxide, the alternative name for calcium oxide is quicklime, and calcium hydroxide is called as slaked lime. Calcium hydroxide is called as slaked lime. Before we go ahead, we need to check whether the equation is balanced or not. Before we move ahead, we need to check whether the equation is balanced or not. So let us quickly see. How many calcium atoms do I have on the left hand side? 1. On right hand side, I want everyone to be glued to the screen now. Calcium on right hand side, it is 1. See, you can't divert your attention, students, otherwise you'll miss out the balancing. Once again, I'm starting for everyone to be attentive here. Calcium on left hand side is 1. Calcium on right hand side is 1. Oxygen on left hand side. We have 1 oxygen with calcium. We have 1 oxygen with hydrogen. So it makes 2 oxygens on the left hand side. And in the product side, you can already see it is 2. Similarly, hydrogen on left hand side is 2. And hydrogen on right hand side is also 2. I hope this is making it clear to you that the equation is already balanced. Can you see the equation is already balanced? The number of atoms in the reactants is equal to the number of atoms in the products. So this equation is already balanced. And in this equation, I am studying it under combination because 2 reactants have combined together to form a single product. What is happening here? 2 reactants combine together to form a single product. So it becomes an example of combination reaction. Are you all understanding? Yes or no? Yes? If not, this is once again an example of combination where I have 2 reactants giving me single product. But one more thing happens in this reaction. What is that? When I mix calcium oxide with water, by the way, do you know what is calcium oxide? Have you seen calcium oxide in your real life? Have anybody seen that? No? Okay, let me give you the common term for calcium. Okay, few of them I've already seen. Calcium oxide basically, students, is that tuna which has been applied on the pan. If you know, that is calcium oxide. Okay, so that when it is mixed with water, it gives me calcium hydroxide. Along with that, heat is also given out in the reaction. Now you might be feeling, how come we know that heat is liberated? When in this picture it is shown that the person is trying to touch the beaker because the temperature of the beaker has increased a little bit. That beaker becomes hot, which is helping me understand that in this reaction, along with the product, heat is given out. Such reactions where heat is liberated in the product, such reactions where heat is liberated in the product are called as exothermic reactions. This is a common type which is applied to all the types of chemical reaction. We are going to study in detail about them after I finish with types of chemical reaction. But before that, just remember, in this example, we are going to write plus heat, which is indicating that it's a type of exothermic reaction. Yes, my dear students, I hope you all have understood and you all have written. You all have written the second example of combination reaction. Please write it. I'm giving you a little more time. Just complete it fast. And for those who have already written it, try to write it without seeing. Let me see how many of you are able to write it without seeing. If you're able to understand the reaction at one go in the class itself, I don't think there is much more worry about chemistry then. So my equation is CaO plus, come on, try to think. What did we put CaO into? Water, which is H2O. And what is the product? Calcium oxide combines with water to form calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide, which is CaOH twice. And do not forget to mention heat. Calcium oxide is called as quicklime and calcium hydroxide is called as slaked-lime. So we've already done two examples of combination reaction. Let us try to see the third example here. In this third example, student, I'm just going to give you a small demonstration here to understand how exactly combination is happening. I've taken a tripod stand. On top of that, I have taken a beaker. Initially, I am not heating the substance. I am taking a beaker in which I am going to add sulfur crystals. This yellow color substance is sulfur. Plus, I am going to add iron crystals to it, which is my Fe. In the beginning, when I am not heating this sulfur and iron, and if I try to move a magnet over it, what do you think will happen? What happens when you move a magnet over iron and sulfur if they are mixed together? Can you separate the iron? Will you be able to separate the iron filings? If I move a magnet over this beaker, will I be able to attract the iron filings on the magnet? Yes. We all know that the iron filings will get attracted towards the magnet. This will happen until and unless I have not heated it. But what happens when I heat them? What happens when I heat them? When I heat iron and sulfur together, I get a black colored substance called as iron sulfide. What do I get? A black colored substance called as iron sulfide. Now when my chemical reaction has taken place, if I move a magnet, will it attract the iron from it? Will it attract the iron from it? The answer to this question is no. It will not be able to attract the iron from it because it has already formed a new substance. That is what the gist is of a chemical reaction. When the chemical reaction has taken place, we cannot get back the original substance. So now when iron sulfide is formed, I will not be able to attract any more iron if I move a magnet over it. So how do we represent this combination reaction in the form of an equation? Let us see. I have got this Fe and S. Both of them have valency 2. Now for those intelligent students of mine who have already seen the valency chart and have come up with the question that ma'am, Fe in the chart is given as variable valency. It has two valencies, which is 2 and 3. For those students who are being very attentive always, and for those who are not being attentive for them also, iron is a element with two valencies, which is 2 and 3. You are going to consider the valency of iron as 2 always. When we are going to take 3, what are the conditions required to take 3? I will tell you when we are doing that reaction. For now, remember the valency of iron will be considered as only 2. Okay. For variable valencies, I'll tell you what are the conditions required to be taken when we are discussing variable valencies. And for those who are not understanding what is variable valency, for them, variable valency means an ion or an element with two valencies. So in this case, I am taking iron as 2, sulfur as 2. Both the 2 gets cancelled and I get the product as FeS. So my reaction, another example of combination becomes Fe plus S gives me the product as FeS. So again, can we say that this is an example of combination reaction? Yes, my dear students, can I say this is an example of combination? Where two reactants combine together to form a single product becomes an example of combination reaction. So how do we define combination reaction? How do we define? I hope you remember the definition. What's the definition, my dear students? The chemical reaction in which two or more reactants. For now, we have been discussing examples only with two reactants, but it can be also more. When two or more reactants combine together to form a single product, then it will be called as combination reaction. You don't have to bother about the heat. Heat is not considered as a product. It's only the temperature which has increased after the reaction has taken place. So I assume that combination was the most simplest type of reaction where two reactants combine together to give us a single product. Where we discussed three examples, one of magnesium ribbon, one of calcium oxide, and one of iron with sulfur. Yes? Shall I move to the next type now if you all have understood what is combination? Okay. So let us see. Don't worry, it's not any danger sign which is being shown here. It's just image. Okay. So I have a compound. I have a compound here which is AB. This thundering is telling me that I'm supposed to separate this AB. But the separation of AB will take place only with the help of certain condition. If I have any compound, let us start from the beginning now. If I have any compound which is AB, this AB, when it splits up into two different substances, which is A and B, if you can say, it's an exactly opposite of combination. In combination, I took two reactants and formed one product. Here I have one reactant and two products. So such reactions where a compound is split into two or more simple products, it is called as decomposition reaction. What is the second type, my dear students? It is called as decomposition reaction. A chemical reaction in which two or more products are formed from a single reactant, it is called as decomposition reaction. What it is called as? Decomposition reaction. Please everyone make a note. Type 2, decomposition reaction. Write the general equation. Do not waste your time in switching on the video and switching it off. You all are looking very beautiful. Just write the equation, which is AB giving me A plus B. And how do I define it? A chemical reaction in which two or more products are formed from a single reactant, it is called as decomposition reaction. I hope that you all have finished writing. You can raise your hand and let me know that you've already finished writing so that I move ahead with the examples. Thank you so much for letting me know that you all are understanding. Okay, so now here, decomposition, students. This splitting, the compound on its own will not go and split into two substances. It requires certain condition. It requires certain conditions for decomposition to happen. On its own, it might happen. Naturally also, sometimes decomposition do happen, but that is very slow process. And I can't wait every time for my reaction to get complete. So I'll be providing some extra conditions from outside for the decomposition to happen. Okay, so let us see what are the conditions required for the decomposition to take place. But before that, let us everyone read the definition together. I want everyone to read the definition together. A chemical reaction in which two or more products are formed from a single reactant, it is called as decomposition reaction. Okay, so now let us see what are the conditions. Don't see him. Nothing like this happens when the chemical reaction takes place. It's just the mimicry here. So decomposition reaction takes place because of either of these three conditions, which can be either heat, light, or electricity. So what are the three conditions we are going to use for decomposition to happen? And I also want you to write this, my dear students. Decomposition reactions might happen because of these three conditions, which is either heat, light, or electricity. Which is either heat, light, or electricity. Once again, I'm repeating myself. Decomposition reactions happens because of these three conditions, which can be either heat, light, electricity. But that doesn't mean, my dear students, that decomposition cannot happen naturally. It can also happen naturally, and we will deal with that example, but it's a slow process. Okay, it's a slow process. And anything, if you want to understand in chemistry, any reaction, you have to always associate it with an example. So let us see what is the example I'm going to do here now. This example everybody has done or might have seen in movies or videos and whatever it is. And during this lockdown, I think majority have already done it. So let us see what is this experiment that you might have done. I have taken a stand here. On the stand, I'm taking a test tube, and inside the test tube, I'm taking sugar crystals or sugar cubes. What's the formula of sugar? Do you know the formula of sugar? It's already come on the screen. Yes, Piyush, I think you can see the formula of sugar on the screen, right? Can you see? Sugar has the formula C12H22O11. Please, I think many of you would have answered the question as C6H12O6. That is glucose, my dear students. C6H12O6 is glucose, and sugar cubes are C12H22O11. We have already done this in your lower standard. Once again, a revision of this. The formula of sugar is C12H22O11, which is my solid substance I have taken in a test tube. Now, what are we going to do? What happens when you heat my sugar, my dear students? Tell me. What do you think will happen when I'm going to heat this sugar? Have you ever tried to heat the sugar in a pan? Yes, you might have tried it for baking purposes, isn't it? It turns into caramel, the brown colored caramel. But what happens when you might have by mistake left it unattended? What would have happened if you leave it unattended? When I leave this sugar unattended and I keep on heating it continuously, it turns into a black colored substance. It turns into a black colored substance which is nothing but carbon. The black colored substance which is left behind is carbon. So what happens to the hydrogen and oxygen from the sugar? It gets evaporated in the form of water. It gets evaporated in the form of water. See the equation carefully. The equation is helping me understand every detail of this equation. I have this sugar crystals which is containing elements like carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. When I heat such substance, the black colored substance which is left behind is carbon. And what are we left with? We are left only with hydrogen and oxygen which combine together in the form of water and in the form of steam gets evaporated. So only a black thing you can see at the base of the beaker, for which definitely I'm sure you might have got a lot of scoldings because it's very difficult to remove it from the pan. Okay, please don't try it at home. So sugar, when we are heating, it gives me a black colored substance and water is being evaporated. What are we trying to understand here? We are trying to learn here is decomposition reaction, where I have a single reactant decomposed into two simple products. And this decomposition, did it happen naturally? Did sugar I kept outside and suddenly became carbon and water? No. What did I do? I provided heat. I provided heat. This reaction will happen only if you provide heat. So this decomposition reaction is an example of reaction being carried out in the presence of heat. Before we understand that, let us try to balance this chemical equation. I'm sure all of you would be able to balance. Do not worry about the numbers which are given here. You might be feeling, ma'am, 12 hai, 22 hai, 11 hai. How will I balance? Do not panic. Just see left side and right side and try to balance the equation. Let us see. How many carbon do I have on left hand side? 12. And how many carbon do I have on the right hand side? It's 1. So how will you make it 12? By multiplying it by 12. As you can see here. How many hydrogen do I have on the left hand side? Hydrogen on the left hand side, I have 22. And how many hydrogen do I have on the right hand side? It's 2. Can you make that 222? What are you going to multiply the number to 2 so that the answer would be 22? Remember multiplication, okay? Which number should I take to multiply to 2 so that the answer would be 22? The answer is simple. We are going to get 11. Very good. So 11 multiplied by 2 gives me 22 hydrogen. But because I put 11 in front of hydrogen, the bajuwala gets affected. Who's the bajuwala? Arey, tera bajuwala nahi. See here. What is the bajuwala here? Hydrogen ka? It is oxygen. How many oxygen it has become now? 11. And I have 11 oxygen already in the reactant. So isn't my reaction balanced? See, my emoji is also very happy. But please, students, you don't have to put this emoji. You have to put a triangle sign or you have to write heat. Just for fun purpose, I've shown here. This indicates that heat is being provided to carry out the reaction. Okay, so this reaction is an example of decomposition reaction which was carried out in the presence of heat. So decomposition reaction which is carried out by heating are also termed as thermal decomposition reaction. Make a note of this, student. It is also called as thermal decomposition reaction. So the decomposition reaction which is carried out by heating is called as thermal decomposition reaction. Is it clear to you? Are all my students able to understand that we have moved on to the next topic, which is my decomposition, under which the first one was because of heat? Let me see how much clear it is to you by just trying to ask you a simple question, which I'm sure you're not able to give the answer to me in live, but at least you can think and try it for yourself. Let us do some other decomposition, which I am taking here is of calcium carbonate. As you can see at the bottom of the slide, my dear students, it is calcium carbonate, which is CaCO3. I have to carry out decomposition of calcium carbonate. As you are all smart that we are doing thermal decomposition. Yes, Purva, we are doing thermal decomposition. So that will be done with the help of heating. Can you think and tell me what will happen when I decompose calcium carbonate, or what happens when I heat such compound? Think and tell me. Come on, tell me. What will happen when you heat such compound? One more hint here. Whenever we have carbonate in the reactant, Whenever we have carbonate in the reactant in the product, always one gas will be given out, which is called as carbon dioxide. The gas which is given out is called as carbon dioxide. Let us see. Calcium carbonate on heating gets decomposed into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide gas gets liberated. So this is our second example for thermal decomposition reaction. You might be thinking, ma'am, oxygen kahan se aaya? This oxygen is already there in the reactant, my dear students, and calcium cannot come out alone. It will first combine with oxygen, forming calcium oxide. Both of them are having valency 2. We cancel the 2, make it 1. So I get CaO plus CO2. Now the next question is my equation balanced? Is my equation balanced? Let us check. You check and tell me, is the equation balanced or not? How many calcium on left hand side? 1. Right hand side 1. Carbon left hand side 1. Carbon right hand side 1. Oxygen left hand side 3. And oxygen right hand side is 1 plus 2, which is giving me 3 again. So my equation is already balanced. So dear students, this was the second example under thermal decomposition reaction, and we use the word thermal for heat. The decomposition reaction which is carried out because of heating are called as thermal decomposition reaction. So very quickly we have understood today. We started with types of chemical reaction, where we already started with combination reaction, where we discussed combination means two reactants combine together to form a single product. Two reactants combine together to form a single product. It is called as combination. And a reaction in which two or more simple products are formed from a single reactant, it is called as decomposition. And decomposition reactions happens because of certain conditions like heat, light, and electricity. Let us quickly do one more decomposition here, that is done with the help of light. Let us see how light is going to help me understand decomposition reaction. In this decomposition, students, I have taken a beaker. In this beaker, I have taken silver bromide. Ag stands for silver, Br stands for bromine. Silver bromide compound is kept exposed to sunlight. When it is kept exposed to sunlight, it gets decomposed into a blackish substance. And what is the substance here? That is silver and bromine gets separated. It's a simple reaction, simple decomposition, but it is happening because of light. That is my sunlight. You don't have to draw a sun on the arrow. You have to write sunlight. Okay. You have to write what? Soham, we are going to write sunlight. What are we going to write? Sunlight on the arrow. Silver bromide, which is AgBr, splits up forming Ag plus Br2. If Soham, you are not able to answer my question why it is Br2, tell me, why do I get Br2? Yes, Soham, I'm talking to you. Why it is Br2? Soham Kare. Why it is Br2? Anybody else who's able to answer this question? Why do I get Brs2? Because bromine is a gas and gases are always diatomic. Bromine is a gas and gases are always diatomic. That is why AgBr in the presence of sunlight gets decomposed into Ag plus Br2. Ag plus Br2. If you have understood this, try to answer this question. Before that, let's balance it. Ag on left hand side 1, Ag on right hand side 1, Br on left hand side 1, Br on right hand side 2. So to balance it, I'm going to put 2 in front of Ag. Br gets affected and it's already Ag here. Is the equation balanced? Anushka, you understood how to balance the equation? Let us try to do another one. Let me see if you're able to do the next one here. AgCl. What will happen when AgCl is exposed to sunlight? Come on, so let me see how many intelligent students are sitting out there who are able to balance this equation. Just raise your hand and tell me how many of you are able to do it. AgCl gets decomposed to form what? Oh, very good, very good. I can see a few hands being raised. Thank you. Very well. Oh, wow. A lot of number. A lot of the students are able to understand. Great. Very good. It's a very simple equation. I have taken, instead of AgBr, I have taken AgCl. I have exposed it to sunlight. I have exposed it to sunlight. It will split up into what? Let me see how many of you are able to write it correctly. It's going to give me Ag plus Cl2. Again, why did I write Cl2? Why did I write Cl2? Because chlorine is a gas. And tell me, if you have written the equation, did you balance it? Did you balance it or not? Both the Ags are same on left and right. Cl on left hand side is 1. Cl on right hand side is 2. So to balance it, we are going to put 2 in front of Ag. And to make it equal, we are going to put on the right hand side also 2. So this was an example of decomposition reaction which is carried out because of sunlight. Just a bit of extra information to you students. Have you ever seen where do we use such compounds? Silver bromide, silver chloride. Both these reactions are used in black and white photography during process of developing. I'm sure you might have not seen live. Few of them would have seen definitely. For those who have not seen, you might have seen it in movies. For developing photographs, usually they have these dark places, right? They are doing it in the dark because for developing students, the solution which is used are silver bromide and silver chloride. And if from this reaction, we know that silver bromide and silver chloride are sensitive to light. So if I do the developing process in bright sunlight, what will happen? The solutions will get decomposed and my developing will not happen. And that is why this kind of developing process is always done in red light. The wavelength is very small. In dark places we do, because if my solutions come in contact with bright sunlight, they will get decomposed, which will hamper the process of developing. Such decomposition reactions, which are carried out with the help of light, are called as photolysis. This term might be asked in objective students. Decomposition due to light is called as photolysis. Lysis word means separation and photo is obviously the light. So the decomposition which is happening because of light is called as photolysis. So till now we have discussed combination and decomposition reactions. Under combination we studied three examples. Under decomposition we studied decomposition happening because of conditions like heat, light and electricity. So we have done with heat and light, and I'm not teaching further. We'll continue it in the next class. But before that, I know few students who are really listening to me carefully. Your homework, do not take it as a burden, but please take it as a practice. The reactions which we have done today are there in your textbook as well. And I've also asked you to write. I want everybody to write these equations twice and learn them by heart, because I'll be trying to take a test in my next class so that you'll be able to understand the reaction. So make sure when you're coming for my next class, you know all the equations which we have done till now. And I hope you are listening to me and you're going to do my homework. Yes, my dear students, will you all do this, please?